Well, I need something to soothe this pain, to cool the lava you pump through my veins, 'cause I'm burning up for you. And I need something to quench this fire before it becomes a funeral pyre. Yeah, I'm burning with yearning so much for you. You struck the sparks, you fanned the flames in me, and now my heart's a blazing ruin. You say that you were only fooling. Don't walk away. Don't do me wrong. Don't leave me singing this torched song when I'm burning up for you. Your love's a drug I have to drop. It hurts me so much, but I just can't stop. I can't stop burning. I'm yearning so much for you. You struck the sparks, you fire the flames in me, and now my heart's a blazing ruin. You say that you were only fooling. Don't walk away. Don't do me wrong. Don't leave me this way, singing this torched song. Don't leave me burning. I'm burning up for you.
How y'all doing today? That was very loud. I'm sorry. I got excited. How you guys doing? I'm good. I'm excited. The camera seems a little off. I don't know. Maybe that's what it should be. But now I'm all off kilter. Now I'm all crooked. I don't know what the heck is happening. It's a weird day. How are you guys? Okay. I think that works. I'm gonna be okay now. I can live with this. I'm feeling pretty good today. It's been a little bit of a weird week. Last week I started 2 new jobs at the same time, so it's been a little hectic, a little crazy trying to balance everything. Moving into the holidays, you know, everything gets a little crazy. So you know, it's been a busy time, but we're here to talk about some video games, to talk about some publishers, to talk about some business sides of video games, and then also to just in general hang out and discuss our favorite hobby, and that's what we plan to do today. So buckle in. Let me put the chat up. I always disable it, and I'm not sure why I do that. Can I play this song for, can I play this for game night? Oh, yes, Olivia. Yes, you can. I do have it. Assassin's Creed Origins. That's still what I'm playing. A lot of people, you know, every week we try to say what we're playing. So in the chat, go ahead and put what you are playing at the moment, what you're working your way through. I keep trying and thinking that I'm about to finish Origins, and then something new happens, and I'm not sure if I love it or if I hate it, because I keep feeling like, okay, resolution, nope, okay, we got one more thing to do. And so I keep getting really close, and then nothing, no cigar. But I will likely be able to finish it in the next hour of gameplay in terms of the main story, but in terms of all of the side quests, and not to mention daily challenges or weekly challenges that they're going to be putting up, that game is massive, which is one of the reasons people have been asking me where's my critique on it. That's one of the reasons there hasn't been a critique yet, because all of these gaming YouTubers, it's partly what spurred on the video earlier this week, is all of this. All these gamers just rushing to put something out. They assume because it's a Ubisoft game, it's not going to be very good. So they rush their way through it and don't do any side quests or anything. Just work their way through the main quest. And then they basically, you know, kind of give it a C or a B and don't actually really consider. What I can say is, not to take away from what will ultimately be my critique, but Assassin's Creed Origins is one of the most impressive, especially technically speaking, it's one of the most impressive games I've ever come across, period, ever. And it stands out in multiple different ways, and not all of them are broadcasted to the player. For instance, you can kill somebody in a fort, in an encampment, and you can go about your business. And the way I found this out was I assassinated a couple people on some towers, and then I went back to my like the top of a temple, and I just kind of hung out there, and I was looking at all the stuff. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go next, and then I saw this soldier walking towards the dead body, and I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see if he freaks out and sets off the alarm. He saw the body. He kind of freaked out for a minute, looked around, investigated. When he didn't find me, because I was way off watching him with Senu, he went, picked up the body, and started carrying it. I was like, okay, what's this? Like, okay, he's carrying the body now. And he took it down into a small grassy area with some trees, and he laid the body down amongst the trees, set it down, and he was saying something, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. So I decided to follow him a little more closely. I took out a few more guards and watched them, and sure enough, they collected the bodies after looking for me, and they would put them all in the same place. And they would have lines that they would say, and they would say like, goodbye, my friend, or he fought valiantly. They'd have little lines like that. And I was blown away, because that's an attention to detail that you would never associate with a Ubisoft title to begin with. And also, that's something that you don't have to find, and that they're not broadcasting. So many developers and so many artists in general, when they do something really impressive, they feel that they have to broadcast it to the world and say, look at this amazing thing I did. But the people who are really fantastic at it just say, well, this is what it is, take it, enjoy it, and if you happen to come across that, good. And there's so many elements in this game just like that. One of the video I did called The Witcher 3 Changed Gaming Forever, that video did very, very well. And in that video, I said that The Witcher 3 was known for giving you the opportunity to run across things that you otherwise wouldn't have seen in the world. Like, I believe the example I gave in that video was of this woman in the game, no spoilers, but in the game, a woman dies and is basically executed, and that's all you hear from it, and you go about your business. But hours and hours and hours and hours later, I was sailing around and I found that woman chained to a rock with a little note that explained that she was executed for blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have to find that. Most people probably didn't find that, but the attention to detail was there to put that there so that if you looked for it and if you really wanted to see, like, okay, I wonder if they actually did this, then it would be there. And that's something that's really, really impressive. In Fallout 3, I believe, there's sections in like a bunker where there's a dining hall. And if you go underneath the dining hall, underneath the floor panels, it's either Fallout 3 or New Vegas, you can actually find like silverware and plates and broken glasses and stuff that have fallen through the cracks of the floor. It's that type of thing that really takes a game from being good to being truly exceptional. And I have been very impressed with Origins so far. And the fact that I haven't seen any of this stuff discussed but in those other YouTubers' reviews really makes me it really makes me think that they're skipping over a lot and rushing their way through it and not giving it due credit. So I've been really trying to take my time with it and enjoy it. That's why there hasn't been a critique. That's why I've been really taking my time. I don't want to rush this. I want to give it a fair shot. I've rushed through some previous games in the past, and I'm aware of that. And, you know, we try to learn and move forward. Horizon Zero Dawn, I have given a second chance. I went through about half of it maybe a month ago to kind of refresh my memory, moving towards the expansion and towards my Game of the Year selection process. And my opinion of that basically stays the same. But what I can say about Origins is that if this is the new trend, like, think of how a lot of games like set the trend for how the franchise is going to go, how the series is going to go. Like The Witcher 3. With The Witcher 2 kind of had an indication of where it was going to go, but it wasn't a huge indication. But you could see the little seeds of what would eventually become something amazing in The Witcher 3. If that is the little seed that's been sprinkled in Origins, whatever game they do next is going to be truly mind-blowing, and I cannot wait for that. My one biggest complaint, though, the soundtrack is really rough. Just in terms of the music, I don't think it's very good. The instrument choice is weird. And specifically how it ties together and integrates into the video game itself, it's not very well done. I'll randomly have moments where the music swells to a point where I couldn't even hear anything, and then it kind of goes back down. Then I'm like, okay, I can hear the dialogue, and then it goes back up. That's the one tough thing. Let's see what we got. Jakes Larzul, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. $2. Like your content, keep it up. I will. Thank you. Little donations like that really do help. That right there means that I don't have to worry about ad revenue on this video, because typically, as I tend to describe to people, depends on the YouTuber, but usually this is kind of an inside secret. A pet peeve, then we'll get into our main topic. A pet peeve of mine, YouTubers always say I can't talk about how much money I make because of policy or because of some copy or whatever bullcrap. No, they can. They can. You can talk about how much you make. You can't disclose like specific business dealings between like sponsorships and things like that. But that's usually outlined pretty clearly. But you can talk about how much you make on a particular video, and it's not hard to figure out. The rough rule is about every 1,000 views, you can count on $1. That's basically what you can count on. So that right there, that $2 already makes up for this video potentially getting demonetized or copyright claimed, because we are going to talk about Rockstar in a few minutes. So, and they copyright claim absolutely everything. A little coffee. This is homemade today. A little watery. I think I messed it up, clogged it up or something. But anyway, okay, let me pull this up. This is going to be our first topic. We've already kind of discussed a bunch of stuff, but I do want to look at this specifically. Okay, so this right here is what we're going to look at. This is specifically a report from GameSpot about Assassin's Creed Origins and how Ubisoft as a company has been doing. And so in this particular example, they're discussing sales of Origins in comparison to Syndicate and how all of their other games, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Rainbow Six Siege, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and For Honor, how all of those kind of tied together in their fiscal year. Now, the one thing I do want to stress is that Syndicate did not sell as well as a lot of other games in the series, and that's because, of course, of Assassin's Creed Unity, which really broke the faith and trust a lot of people had with Assassin's Creed Origins, or Assassin's Creed to begin with, rather. So now that Origins has set the trend, and a lot of people are loving the crap out of that game, I would expect to see the next installation or next game sales really skyrocket. I think it would be, I think it's going to be impressive. So first things first, let's see right here. I want to get into specifics on a comparable basis, which in this case looks at units sold during the first 10 days after launch. Sales of Origins are double that of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Ubisoft unfortunately didn't provide specific sales figures, but this is an encouraging sign for the company after it gave the franchise a year off. Excuse me. Despite a generally positive response, Syndicate sales were down in 2015 due to the notoriously buggy launch of Assassin's Creed Unity in 2014. During a post-earnings conference call, CEO Yves Guillemot declared that the series is officially back. At least that's what they consider it to be. Ubisoft's total sales, this is pretty impressive, and this will leak into our discussion with Rockstar and specifically Take-Two. Ubisoft's total sales during the second quarter were 264.2 million euros, while during the first half overall, they were up 65.7% year over year to 466.2 million. The company attributed the growth to Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle and the sales of its older titles, such as Rainbow Six Siege, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and For Honor. The big one I would say there is Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and that is kind of a sleeping giant. And not many people realize how many copies that sold. But putting that game out on the Switch was one of the most brilliant things they could have done. Not only is it a really fun game, just to begin with, but it works incredibly well with the Switch. There's so much in that game. At first, you think that it's going to be pretty empty and pretty bland, but it's actually incredibly massive. So I do recommend it. If you have a Switch, I recommend Mario Rabbids. Not to mention, it's just really cute and endearing. But that's sold many copies. Many. So that's definitely something. Not to mention that most of those sales are probably going straight off of digital. Most people are downloading it to their Switch, so it's tied to their Nintendo account, so they don't have to worry about a little card. But even if you get the card, whatever they call it, I'm not sure what they call it, the cartridge maybe. Even if you get the physical copy, they still are making huge returns on it. So very profitable game to begin with. Chief Financial Officer Alain Martinez said Wildlands in particular has a bright and exciting future, and boasted about the strong continued performance of Siege. He also noted that Mario Rabbids sold better than expected and should have a stronger than usual sales tail as more people are getting their hands on Nintendo Switch. As previously reported, Kingdom Battle is Switch's best-selling third-party title. The industry-wide shift towards digital continues to go well for Ubisoft. Digital revenue is up 69.1% year over year to 342.6 million, and with the publisher so heavily focused on keeping its existing games such as Siege and Wildlands alive, players recurring investment, a category that includes things like DLC and microtransactions and all of that, it's up 82.9%, which is a lot. So let's look at what this kind of circles back to. Essentially, all that means, if we go here, essentially all of that means, let's skip to there. Yeah, that works for me. Essentially, all this means is that they're doing very well. Origins has helped them get the boost up It's not clear. They haven't divulged specifics as to how much this game sold compared to this game, so we don't know exact numbers. But what we can say is that Assassin's Creed Origins has more than made up for what it needed to. So people were concerned that taking a year off, there wouldn't be the same interest in the series after that year off as there had been previously when they did a year over year release. But as we've seen, if anything, they've kept on pace. They've made that money back by selling twice as many copies as Syndicate. Not to mention, I think that the later purchasers, the people that come on and get the game around the holidays, I think that's going to be massive, especially as Game of the Year awards start going out. I really do believe that. So that is one interesting thing right there. Let me skip ahead to this. We already covered that. Okay, Take-Two Interactive has said that they want recurring consumer spending in all of their games. This is ticking off a lot of YouTubers, a lot of gaming journalists, and we're going to talk about it because I like making fun of people like that. So essentially all they've said is that they want this recurring consumer spending, which is code for microtransactions, for subscriptions, loot boxes, those types of things. Now, these are the guys behind Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption 2. These are the big players, okay? Now, it shouldn't surprise you that they're saying this, because they've made untold hundreds of millions of dollars off of Grand Theft Auto 5 online. They made so much money from Grand Theft Auto Online, they actually just didn't get around to developing any single-player DLC as was originally planned. They found themselves instead going through and providing support and constant updates to Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. It was very, very profitable, and they're hoping that Red Dead Redemption 2, which will have an online service as well, they're hoping that will also be able to help them and sort of be the successor to that same online experience. Snapple. So specifically, they said the companies where was the quote I was going for? I lost it. Okay, it may not always be virtual currency, it may not always be microtransactions, it may not always be expansions, but Take-Two is aiming to bake into its games some element that keeps the players coming back, and specifically spending. We've said that we aim to have recurrent customer or consumer spending options for every title that we put out at this company, Zelnick. This is Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Take-Two. And he went on to say, it may not always be an online model. It may not, probably won't always be a virtual currency model, but there will be some ability to engage on an ongoing basis with our titles after release across the board. Now, this is one thing, again, I'm just going to reiterate this. Of course, duh. Like, if this is somehow a surprise to you, I don't know what I can do to help you. Because really, this is a company saying they want to make money. Should they not be saying that? Like, I've listened to some, like I read some tweets from people, an article from, I think it was Motherboard or one of those sites. And they were saying this is so disgusting and so horrible. No, this is a company. The company's purposes are to make money for shareholders, for the people that own the company. Their goal is to make money and then put that back into the business and they make even more money. That's what they do. All they're saying here is they want to make money off their games. You may not like that they want to do that, but that's what they're doing, and that's all you can really expect from them. They go on to say, this comes as no surprise, given that Take-Two's recurrent consumer spending category is a huge revenue driver for the company. For the quarter ended, excuse me, let me start over. For the quarter that ended September 30th. Revenue from recurrent, I can't read today, consumer spending rose by 66% and amounted to more than $200 million. That's a whopping 48% of Take-Two's overall revenue of $443.6 million for the period. And this is one of the crazy things, is that Take-Two, they don't put out a ton of these types of games, but they do have games that come out that are incredibly popular, and then everyone plays them, and then you get some people that stay on the online side and spend untold number, or just insane amounts of money. It really is baffling to the mind how much money some people will spend online. One of the key drivers for Take-Two's recurrent consumer category was GTA Online, which, years after release, just had its strongest quarter ever, which is crazy. This is a game that launched for the first time, what, 4 years ago? Approaching 5 years ago? And it just had its most successful and profitable quarter. This is crazy. No one would have predicted that GTA Online would have been this successful, and I still don't really understand how they're making that much money from it. But apparently, there's some people, they play GTA Online, and that's all they play. They spend their money there. And that's something to remember, is people are like, why are people buying microtransactions? Well, sometimes, like, I will buy an exogenous, some sort of package or DLC or something for a game. If I love the game so much, I want to continue supporting the developer and say, you know what, this was so good, I believe you deserve more money for this. So for The Witcher 3, I bought that game in total like 3 or 4 times, I believe. Like once or twice as a gift to different people, and then I got it for my PS4, and I have it for the PC, and then I also have another copy for GOG. Like, I have it all over the place because I want to support them in that way. Assassin's Creed Origins, I believe, is such a good game. I want to support them and say, hey, give me more stuff like this. Take my money so that you see I want more of this. In which case, I would definitely go and purchase the DLC because I want to support that type of game. Things like that. There's those types of people. And then there's also the types of people that have 1 or 2 games that they play. Okay? For Overwatch. There's some people who only play Overwatch. Destiny. There's some people that only play Destiny. And they only play those. So all of those games, like some people that watch this channel are playing everything that comes out. And that's just what they're doing. They play everything that comes out. They play through the game, then they go get the next thing. And they're spending a lot of money doing it, just cycling through. If you only had one game that you played, and you went and put your money down to get the game initially, $60, and then all throughout the year, you're like, oh, well, I can get this expansion, I can get this cool skin for my gun, I can do this. That's what you're going to do. And the reality is that there's a lot more people that play that way than there are that play the more, pretty much everything. And you wouldn't expect that, but it's because they aren't the ones that are browsing, like, you know, YouTube gaming channels that are watching these live streams. They aren't that into it. They just have a game that they really like. They play it and they spend money on it. So, I mean, it does happen. And we might call them casual gamers. We might call them whatever, bro gamers, I don't know. But those types of people are very, very numerous. And I didn't realize just how numerous they were until recently, but they're incredibly numerous. And these companies have figured that out. Where was I? I lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah. Zelnick said a lesson that Take-Two has learned from GTA Online is that people will flock to content and spend extra money on it if the experience is compelling enough. Rockstar updates GTA Online with basically, well, constantly, with new modes and activities releasing all the time. The commitment is paying off for Take-Two, and Zelnick suggested that Red Dead Redemption 2 will also offer players something extra. Quote, one of the things that we learned is if we create a robust opportunity and a robust world in which people can play delightfully in a bigger and bigger way, that they will keep coming back and they will engage. And if there is an opportunity to monetize that engagement, I don't see. And if there is... Did I misread? I don't know. Either way, they're going to monetize it if they can. Zelnick went on to say that it's a new world for the economics of video games today because no longer do developers always put out games and move on to the next ones. They often stick with them, adding new content over time and reaping financial benefits if players stick around and keep spending as they have in GTA Online. Quote, it's been transformative for us, and the only reason it's transformative for us is because it's transformative to our consumers. The business that once upon a time was a big, chunky opportunity to engage for tens of hours, or perhaps 100 hours, has turned into an ongoing engagement day after day, week after week. You fall in love with these titles, and they become part of your daily life. End quote. And those are the types of gamers that we are interacting with and dealing with. And those are the ones that are funding this insane growth that we've seen previously. I mean, the quarter that ended September 30th, revenue from recurrent consumer spending, so DLC, microtransactions, rose 66% and amounted to more than $200 million. In one quarter, they made over $200 million from their titles, mostly GTA Online, in those extraneous transactions. It's insane. It's insane. But that's because they have tapped into that more casual market that's willing to spend more money on these smaller items. So when all of us, people are always frustrated, they're like, why are these companies not listening to us? We don't like microtransactions. We don't like blah, blah, blah. We don't, blah, 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 like all these complaints. The reality is that in many ways, the people that are upset about this are just a very vocal minority. And Take-Two and EA and all these companies, they can nod. They can be like, yeah, no, totally. You're totally right. Yeah, totally. We understand you. Yes, we're very sorry about this, that you're frustrated. And blah, 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 blah. And then they just continue doing it. And it's just because of that. You know, don't break it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in this case, it really isn't broke. It's actually making them a bunch of money. A buttload, a metric buttload. There's a discussion on our Discord. Links up here, and also they're going to put it in the chat once my moderators see this. Our Discord, we have all sorts of fun discussions, and we had a discussion about metric versus the US standards, and what is it, metric versus, are we called royal? Is that what it is? Because we have, like, the idea of the foot and the mile, like the foot as a unit of measurement, was that way back in the day, the foot would be like the size of the king's foot. And that's the size that a foot was, and you'd measure by it. Naturally, it got really frustrating because whenever the king died or a new one would come around, there would be a new size, so it just got crazy, and eventually they settled on it. At least that's what I was told, is the sort of basis for it. Imperial, that's what it is, imperial. Thank you, Galfoud. Right there. Yes, imperial. Metric, I will admit, especially once you get into the sciences, just makes way more sense. Way more sense. So I can appreciate that. Look at that. Look at that. All them arrows. All them arrows. It's like a rainfire. It's like a rainfire. I just wonder, when are the publishers going to be satisfied? Well, I don't think they ever will be, and I don't think they should be. You know, these are ultimately companies that are trying to make money, and if they can continue making money, why wouldn't they? You know, in a perfect world, all these, you know, everyone would get exactly what they want, and no one would ever be uncomfortable or have to pay for anything. But that literally cannot happen. It's non-existent. So, it's just the reality of the world we live in, is that, you know, companies can provide us services that are incredible and that we love, but there often are costs to that as well. And I actually think that's pretty cool, because I can pay and give my money to people who gave me something I really appreciate. But sometimes it does get gobbled up by these big publishers, and it can just get frustrating all around. Okay, this is the next thing we're going to discuss. If I can get it to switch over. Rockstar Games has shared their 4K trailer for their LA Noire re-release on PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. The Switch is obviously not a 4K version of the game, but it is a version of the game that you can get. And yeah, no, we have a good time. And yeah, it got fat. I know. Yeah, no, well, it's a running joke. Like, Americans know, like, the metric system is just better. Like, it just makes sense. Like, centimeters, and then you have like meters, and then kilometers. Like, it just makes sense, and it's all consistent. Whereas, like, you have a foot, and then there's 12 inches in a foot, and then you have to think like, okay, quarter inches, and then you go in, and then you're like, well, a mile, is that like 1,000 feet? No, it's not. It just doesn't make sense. Hello, everyone who made it live. We're glad. Aka Bucket, aka Bucket, aka Buckets 21. Hello, hey, Luke and chat. Glad to have you. Welcome. So yeah, they've put out LA Noire. Well, it's coming out on the 14th, and it's I would play this video, but the video is going to get taken down if I do this. So the re-upload, the stream is going to get taken down if I do that. Rockstar will take it down. They copyright claim practically everything that covers theirs. So yeah, no, this is very impressive though. I love this game. It makes fun sounds. That's fun. Rockstar makes some great games, but I mean, LA Noire is one of my favorites of all time, and it's a game that really connected with some people and didn't connect at all with anybody else. You loved it or you hated it. It's not a typical game. You know, most elements of the game are clunky. They're not done super well, but you're playing it for the environment, for the ambiance, for the story, and for the typical sort of detective sort of, I don't know. I'm tired today. I'm sorry. No, it's very, very fun. I really enjoy it, and now I'm going to be able to play it on my Switch. I'm getting to the point of the year though where I'm so frustrated because there's just not enough time in the day. Like, I've got to finish Origins and work on that critique, and then I've got Super Mario Odyssey, which I don't think I'm going to cover on the channel, so that's just going to be pleasure gaming. But that's going to be really good. And then, of course, this I'm going to be able to get on the Switch, and so I'm going to lose time there. The Switch, I remember LA Noire. If you guys remember, if you got... Who here? Let me know in the chat. If you got LA Noire when it first came out, did you get the physical copy for, like, the 360? Because if you did, then it came in, like, a case, and you'd open it up, and it seemed kind of cool. But if I remember correctly, it had 3 or 4 discs in that original Xbox 360 edition. I might actually, let me see it. Let me look on my shelf over here. I might still have it. We could check live. I'm gonna check. Let me get some music. It shouldn't take a. It's like right on the shelf. There, little groovy music. Okay, I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna check.
Baby, you know I'm guilty. Cops, judge, and jury, they all agree. If love's the crime, I'm doing time, and I don't look like I'll ever get free. Yeah, baby, you know I'm guilty. Baby, you know I'm guilty. While you're my Clyde, I'll be
Okay. Okay. I found my old gen. I can play it really softly. I don't know. I'll just turn it off. Anyway, I found my old gen games that at least I have in here. This is from the PS2, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. This had a blue disc. Look at this. This is retro. Blue disc for the PS2. How cool is that? I forgot I had this in here. This is a little booklet I kept, and I put it in there. This is so cute. This is like 12, 13-year-old Luke. And I put in the little cheat codes that I found. And so I have one: full security, Stormy, money, Stormy, and seal of approval. I don't know what those mean, but apparently those are cheat codes for this game that I thought were important enough that I could note them down. And yeah, this cost me like 30 bucks when I got it, but this was a really fun one. A fun PS2 game. Then Thrillville Off the Rails, also for the PS2. This one was just kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you made your own things, but you actually got to run around the park yourself and go on the rides, and it was kind of fun. I really enjoyed it. Just Cause, the original for the PS2, has not aged well whatsoever, but that was a fun one. Mafia 2, played this with my brother, still way better than the recent Mafia 3. Red Faction Guerrilla, I love Red Faction in general as a series. It really breaks my heart how much it went downhill near the end. Wolfenstein, that was my brother's. This is for the PC. This is like an old point and click Titanic thing. And then of course the Stick of Truth. But that's all I dropped it. I dropped the Stick of Truth. That's all I have in here, so I don't have L.A. Noire. But it did have like 3 discs. A little off topic. Yeah, that is one thing. Whatever happened to cheat codes? That's really frustrating. Oh. That is really, really frustrating. I would love to go through that again. I mean, it's just, oh. I'm sorry. There was a lockdown at the school when I went today. I went in, I had this little thing I had to do, and just a little like hour-long thing, and I went in and they locked the entire thing down. And it was crazy. It was crazy. Like the alarms went off, the doors shut, and then they locked down, and you hear the big clicks, and everything locks into place. And then the lights start flashing, and the alarm just and it was a lockdown on the inside. So we were inside this room with wood floors, big kind of performance space, and it was just like crazy stressful, because it was not a drill. Something was going on campus, and you could hear the lady over the PA. She hit the voice thing, and she said, you know, this is not a drill. Stay in the room where you are, lock the doors, stay away from windows, don't let anyone in unless they have a key to get in, or law enforcement. Do not let anyone in. And you can hear it in her voice. She was shaky. Really, I mean, something serious was going on. I don't know what happened. About half an hour later, they let us out and everything was okay. What it usually is like if if a student gets really frustrated and goes out and says something really stupid, or gets angry about a grade and then says they're going to blow something up, that's when they have to shut it down. But it's yeah, no, it was freaky. So I'm just now getting updates from the school on what happened, and so that's what I was looking at. Look on Twitter, The Witcher 3 is being released on the Switch. The Switcher 3. There you go. That's a good one. Oh, you guys already made that joke, yeah. Switcher 3, that would be a good one. Can you imagine if you could get The Witcher 3 on the Switch? Bye-bye life. No, really, any of these massive games on the Switch is just a win. It's just a win. I just wish the Switch had like easily transferable saves. So like my Switch, I'm sure will get to the point where it's just worn out and I need a new one, but I'm going to lose all my save files and everything. Even if you save to the SD card and you have the game on the SD card, it's saved to the device, so it can't transfer. Maybe they've changed that since then, but it was really frustrating for me because it was like, I just want to be able to play these games no matter what. And if I want to buy another Switch, let me do that. Let me give you my money. Plus, I think they should do like a Switch XL or something. It's a larger Switch, maybe a slightly better screen, slightly better internals, that type of thing. I think they could get away with that. I mean, I think I would get it. A Switch XL. Would you guys get a Switch XL as opposed to a Switch? I think that would be a really good idea. It would confuse the Joy-Con thing. You'd have to have XL Joy-Cons and regular Joy-Cons, but I mean, I'm fine with that. Especially if it means that you could get a Switch to play like Zelda on portably. If the device is a little bigger, a little thicker, a little heavier, I would actually be okay with that. Charge $500 for it. People will buy it. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. What does our Snapple thing say? What is this? Real fact number 1196. Yeah. Andrew Jackson was once given a 1,400-pound cheese wheel as a gift, which he served at his outgoing president's reception. There you go, 1,400 pounds. If I remember correctly, though, the cheese was so disgustingly stinky that it was like a major issue. It stunk up the entire White House, all of the outdoor grounds. It was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah, okay, you'd buy Kamuro Tetsu would buy a Switch XL, needs more HDD. Yeah, no, I think that I think it would just be great. I think it'd be great. I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe that's what they're going to do like a year from now, to kind of get around the idea that, because like the Switch is awkwardly, it's like, because it's a portable device, people expect there to be updates very frequently and reiterations, kind of like a cell phone. But at the same time, I can actually pull mine right there. But at the same time, people want to have a console and not have to worry about it for a few years. But because it's a portable console, it's going to get worn down much faster than like a PS4 is going to get worn down, or a PC. So it's in this weird middle space. And I think one of the ways you could fix that is by offering, for one, data transfer, so you can transfer over your save files. That's a software issue. There's no reason that that shouldn't be on this to begin with. And then also, there should be probably a larger option, and maybe like a Switch 2. They all play the same games. They all do that. They can all run that same stuff. It's just going to be different resolutions, different frame rates, that type of thing. I think that that's the way to go. But like even here, like when I'm holding it, you hold it here and your fingers end up on the back. If you can see that, I don't know if you can see some of the wear. You see like right there, that wear, just where my hand has been. Because my hand, I'm not playing it like this. Who plays like that? No, you're going to hold it like this, and you're going to get these weird kind of marks, oily marks. And yeah, the kickstand is also really, really bad. I had to tape mine shut because it kept swinging open. It was damn frustrating. Yeah, there we go. Also, now that there's Stardew Valley on the Switch, I don't know what my life is about anymore. It's all a disaster. Monster Hunter, I don't know if I'm excited for that, to be honest. I'm not that hooked on the idea to begin with. Yes, Gaufoud, we're going to discuss esports today. That's our last topic. Also, can you please tell Liam Shaw that he is a dirty communist? His country needs to learn how to drive on the correct side of the road. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. We'll have a talk, Liam. We need to have a talk. I wonder if this is going to get copyright struck. I don't know. I don't know if it is. So basically, we were going to talk about esports. And esports, of course, are electronic sports. They are online sports, something like a competitive CSGO player or Overwatch, something like that. Somebody who professionally plays video games, not as entertainment, but they're competing. Now, this is something that I've always found a little bizarre. I mean, I grew up watching chess tournaments and stuff, so I can understand people playing a game and then watching it. I of course, I think it can be an actual sport. It's a little weird, but it is a sport. It requires skill. It requires practice and training. It requires all of that. I know, having competed in chess tournaments for years and years and years in my youth, that there's many sides to those types of activities that you wouldn't see coming or wouldn't think are big elements of that. So for chess, for instance, you have to be quite physically fit. Once you get to the top level of chess play, if you look at anybody who's really, really fit or really, really good at chess, they're all pretty fit. And it's because they have to sit there focused and thinking, using energy for 6 to 8 hours at a time for a single game against an opponent. There's no break in between. There's no sitting down watching a YouTube video. No, you are playing the game for 6 hours. That's what you're doing. And it requires a lot of attention and focus just in general. And so I can appreciate that. Microtransaction, or not micro, I don't know why I keep saying that. Esports are the same thing. They require focus, they require attention, they require effort. So of course I would say it's a real sport. Does that mean everyone has to watch it? No. Does that mean that it should be up there with the NFL? Probably not. People are going to like what they're going to like. Maybe one day it will be, and we'll be making fun of people for throwing pig skins at each other and say, you know, why don't you go get a keyboard and mouse and play esports like the rest of us? Maybe one day that will be a thing, but right now it's not. I think it's fine. Esports are okay. And I think it's good, you know, but I will still kind of poke fun at it because it is really, really funny. This is what I always picture. And that's what it makes me think of. I was going to say something. I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? Crap. I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, so yeah, that's there. I also have not played the Fractured Butthole yet. I need to play it. I'm trying to finish Origins completely first, so I'm not bouncing back and forth. So that's why I haven't covered that yet. But I'm aware of it. I just have not gotten through it to the point that I would be excited to talk about it, or satisfied and confident that I could talk about it reasonably. Okay, so let's go through the final flush, as we call it. For those of you not familiar with what this is, essentially it's your chance to try to make me crack up while reading something. We put in some jokes, we put in some goofy stuff, and you get the chance to essentially put in a joke, put in a one-line or something. We try to keep it a little more clean just because we have some younger people that watch. But, you know, put something in. I'm going to read through it and try not to crack up. And if I crack up, I lose and you win. If I don't crack up, I win. So let me get the timer ready. And I'll give you some time to put that through. And there's a slight delay between this, so, you know, of course it's going to be a little bit different, but here we go. I'll give you a few more seconds to put your stuff in. I'm going to uncheck this so I can't see what you're putting into the chat or what you're going to do, because I want it to be fresh and surprising. You know, there's no point in doing this if I read everything beforehand and kind of prep for it. As for what we're going to do to celebrate, usually when somebody wins, we celebrate in some way, like by watching something silly, something funny. And I got to think of what that might be while you're putting that in there. Let me think. Okay, and go like there. Okay, I have something in mind. Let me see if I can find it while you guys are doing that. Okay. Da-da-da. I'm not gonna show you though. This is going to be a surprise. Is that it? I don't think that's it. Damn it. Oh wait, that is it. Okay. Okay. I found it. I found it. For those of you who are really good, you probably already know what that is. Just from that little clip. Just from that little clip. Okay. Okay. We're about ready. Let me start the timer. How long should we go for today? Not crazy long. I give you guys about a minute and a half. I'll go for like 45 seconds. Usually I go for like 3 times what I actually say I'm going to go for. But I'm going to go for like 45 seconds to a minute. We're going to see what we can get. Okay. Let me get this. There we go. Okay. So now you can see what I see. And timer, go. Is it going? Yes. Okay. First one, Scout Fouled. I got in touch with my inner self today. I hate one-ply toilet paper. That was a cough, not a laugh, but I'm totally using that. I used to be addicted to soap, but now I'm clean. How do you know? That's kind of cute. How do you know if a black guy has been on your computer? It's not there. That's bad. How did Hitler die? He saw the gas bill. Oh no. Escalated quickly. The only thing flat earthers have to fear is the sphere itself. I'm in an astronomy class right now. I'm using that. The only thing flat earthers have to fear is sphere itself. That's good. I like that. I really like that. Why did the physics teacher break up with the biology teacher? There was no chemistry. I'm all out of wit. Oh wow. Why is Usain Bolt better than Hitler? Oh, we're gonna have to, oh wait, crap. I skipped. Sometimes it jumps. Okay. I lost it. I don't know. I got a joke. Luke playing Hitman. He's been asking me to play Hitman for so long. There's just so many games, man. I'm sorry. Me and my friends used to feed LSD to this little retarded girl in our neighborhood, and we would lock arms around her and yell, "Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare." It actually cured her retardation. Oh. Oh. Okay. Good. I don't know. Have you heard about the new German microwave? It seats 6. What's the difference between a pizza and a Jew? Pizza didn't scream as he went. Oh my. Optimist, the glass is half full. Pessimist, the glass is half empty. Mother, why didn't you use a coaster? Check out this really funny jokes. 911 or 9/11 couldn't have been an inside job because the planes came from the outside. Oh, I see what you did. Oh crap. Why is Usain Bolt better than Hitler? I don't know. I'm waiting for the joke. That Bill Cosby guy must not be as good a comedian as people say. I hear his material is always putting people to sleep. That's good. That's good. Why is Usain Bolt better than Hitler? He's actually able to finish off a race. Oh, okay. I see where you were going. I hope they legalize self-euthanasia because I've seen those minion memes that middle-aged white women post. Oh. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. And I'm sorry, I'm not funny. I'm legitimately disappointed in people for minions. Why did the tree go to the dentist to get a root canal? Oh, that's good. What's the difference between a Jew and a Boy Scout? The Boy Scout came home from camp. Oh, that's real bad. That's real bad. What's the time? Oh, yeah. See, I went for 3 minutes. I went for like 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I just suck. I suck at this. I need to get better about following my own instructions. That's what I need to do. New Year's resolution. But to celebrate, as always, we have to watch a video. And that's what we're going to do. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here we, let me enable the chat again. Here we go.
Look, we came, we saw, he died. We came, we saw, he died. Look, we came, we saw, he died. Look, we came, we saw, he died.
It's not a laughing matter. I take it really seriously.
Oh, there's more.
Vote for me because I'm a woman. One of my merits is I'm a woman. All these mothers vote for me because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman. Vote for me because I'm a woman. One of my merits is I'm a woman. All these mothers vote for me because I'm a woman. Because I'm a woman.
A woman running to be the first woman
I
president.
cannot imagine anyone being more of an outsider than the first woman
Who can
president.
be more of an outsider than a woman president?
Well, I can't think of anything more of an outsider than electing the first woman president.
A woman president of the United States of America. Women, women, woman, woman, women, 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 woman, woman, women, 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 women,
That's horrifying. That is horrifying. But that's what we got to finish with. Because we're awesome like that. We finished with a little something placeboing or placeboing, whatever it is. Placeboing. Maybe that's what it is. Placeboing. I bet that's what it is. Placeboing. Either way, they have a great channel. They put out some great stuff. Make sure you go like, favorite that video. I know I have because it's hilarious and great. And you should subscribe if you haven't already because I'm a woman, and vote for me because I'm a woman. Like up the video because I'm a woman. That's what you should do, no doubt. Thank you all so much for coming out today. We had a great time, and yeah, I feel good about this. I'm going to try to finish out Origins so that I can officially start closing out the critique, and we're going to be on a roll. Good to go. But thank you all for coming out. Make sure you join up with our Discord afterwards. Follow me on Twitter at LukeStevensTV. We're going to have a great time moving forward. I can't wait. And yeah, thank you for watching. I love you all. Peace out, my homies. Bye-bye.